I watched a video with Sky Zoo talking about it with Tyler Kweli, talking about ghostwriting, and he was saying how it's like he said like these are his two careers. He's got 1A, 1B, these two streams of revenue. He ghostwrites a lot. And I can hear it because he talked about how he tailor makes his ghostwriting records. He says like, hey, if you tell me you want your record to, want me to write to a trap beat and you want it to sound like this and you want to talk about this, this, and this, and you want me to say the N word, like, even I don't like, he said, I can write it in your voice. And I feel like this album proves that, if anything, because he writes this album in Franklin's voice. I definitely could believe he did similar things in other albums. He's got like the Theo versus JJ.
Yeah, I was about to say Theo versus JJ.
And I feel like he's really good at writing in other people's voices. Yeah. And this just shows like, man, some of these writers are so talented. If they wrote somebody else's rhymes, you wouldn't even know. Like, you just wouldn't know. And that's the definition of a ghostwriter, is like they don't get writing credits. They just wrote somebody else's rhymes. They got paid for it, and you don't know it. Like, that's the point. That's ghost. That's the whole ghost part of the ghostwriter.
Yeah.
For sure. I just feel like, because whenever we start talking about ghostwriters, people automatically go to the credits. Like, that's what they were doing on according to hip hop. They're like, oh, let me check the credits. And
ghostwriters don't get credit.
Exactly. Like, that's the point, right? Isn't that the whole concept? Like,
a lot of times the writers in the credits be stuff like samples and things like that.
Yeah.
A ghostwriter is not putting their name on the credit. That's the whole point.
Only in hip hop though, because in R&B and stuff, their writers get credits.
That's not a ghostwriter. That's a writer.
Not a ghostwriter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter in R&B. No one's criticizing you in R&B if you can't write a song.
Well, I still think it happens. Ghostwriting happens in R&B too, because
sure, but it's not the same thing as far as the respect level that's applied to it.
Right. I was listening to when Joel Ortiz and Crooked Eye were on Math Hoffa's podcast. Joel was talking about ghostwriting. He was like, I've written things you don't know what I've written. And Math Hoffa was like, like rap or R&B. He was like all of it, And then they asked him, like, what records have you written? And he says, I can't tell you that, And I feel like the ghostwriting stuff we only hear about the ones where the people talk. And it's usually like out of some, like disgruntled, situation where somebody talks, or somebody, like, I don't know, somebody gets a hold of a reference track, but not even a reference track. If you're just a ghostwriter, you might just, you just in the studio writing with them, not a reference track, like it's not always like that. So
some of these ghostwriters want careers though. And for them to get that respect, they have to say, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I've written for your favorites. I wrote some of your favorite songs, this and that.
No, because once you...
I get that, but you can't say the specific song.
Once you are outed, like Quentin Miller, once you're outed, you have no career. If anyone who spots him with anything, it's automatically now your career is ruined. To be an effective ghostwriter, you need to not have anything come out. You need to not talk. Otherwise, you messing up your money.
Right.
Sky Zoo was talking about, when he was talking about to Talib, he was saying how when he wanted to get on to ghostwriting, he would meet other ghostwriters, and he said that they didn't want to put him on because most ghostwriters are failed rappers, right? They didn't make it. They never got a deal because of whatever, something made them unmarketable in some way. And they didn't want to put him on because they consider Sky Zoo a made rapper, like,
right.
We just talking about how he never gets mainstream acclaim, but Sky Zoo's level of success is considered made. He can make money off of his craft. We're talking about rappers who you've never heard of because they never blew up. They never got past their local, local stop. So you wouldn't know their names. They're nobodies. That's who the ghostwriters are. That's why they're ghosts. But they're in other people's songs writing for them.
Mm-hmm.
If you know a ghostwriter's name, then it's probably because they are not a successful ghostwriter or they something else happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I agree with that nowadays. I think that's how it was back then, but I don't know about that nowadays. I feel like every artist, even like not super successful artists, they'll be like, "Oh, I've written songs for this person or this person." Like,
That's not the
I don't
same.
know.
That
Once
exactly
you
the
do that, you mess
successful
yourself
artist.
up. Yeah, man. I
The
mean, once you do that,
successful artists do that. Like Future could talk about writing for Beyonce because he's Future. Who does he care? And he said,
right,
I didn't get credit. And
right,
that's why he's talking about it. Because I'm
right.
Future. I want credit for everything I do. My name is big enough. I want credit for everything I do. But if you're a ghostwriter, a real ghostwriter, you don't want to mess up any relationships. So you're just going to stay quiet. You knew that you weren't getting credit from the jump. That's part of the deal. They're going to make you sign an NDA and say, don't talk, don't say nothing.
Mm-hmm. And you get to live a nice, a fairly decent lifestyle without having to worry about the fame aspects of it, the performing aspects of it. So you get to live, I don't know what type of money they're making, but I assume it's better than, Joe Schmo 9 to 5 worker. So, seem like a nice lifestyle. You're still making music. So,
For sure.
you don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you fire, you're gonna get business no matter what. Even if I am one of the best writers, like I say, I wrote for Rihanna, I wrote for Beyonce, I wrote for this person, Taylor Swift, this person, this person. Like you can say that it don't have to be the song, but just putting it out there will get you that respect. I don't think you have to say, "Oh, I wrote this song or this song." I think
I
you'll
don't
still
know.
be fine, personally.
I think if you're a ghostwriter, you could get writing credits and not be a ghostwriter on other stuff. But like, I'm assuming sometimes if they want you to be a ghostwriter, you keep your mouth shut, and then other times you'll be able to actually get your name on something as a writer. But only as a writer, and people won't still know your name. Like they'll see your name in the writing credits, but okay, who's that guy?
Honestly, I think that there's writing teams. Like some of the people who are known writers have a team of writers writing music for them, and they'll get the writing credit. But you on my team, so when I get the credit, everybody's gonna eat, that sort of thing. I don't know. I mean, look, I'm just speculating. I'm not part of the industry. I really don't know. But there's so many, just stories of people,
right. Well, man, how do you feel about that, man? Is that when we talk about the ghostwriters and we talk about the Kanye, and should he be like listed on these different lists and things like that because we know he has writers? How does that impact you? How does that take you? Does that take you off all this? Does that take you off an MC list? I mean, how do you interpret that?
I think Kanye should be taken off all MC lists. I also think, I think the same of Drake. I think the same of a lot of these rappers who, like I said, I think employ a team of writers. I don't know. This is just, speculation on my part. But Kanye's always had tons of rappers around him. And Consequence, and he's even credited these people. Sci-Hi, Consequence, Partisan,
Rhymefest, yeah.
Rhymefest. He's credited these people.
Bush.
Cuddy, so I think he sits in a room and they all throwing lines out. I think they all like, oh, it'd be dope to say this. Oh, no, it's dope to say this. And I think Kanye participates because obviously he likes the funny stuff in his rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's like, oh, I want to make this funny. But I'm sure these other writers say, oh, this will be funny too. Like they'll add to his funny because they know the voice that he wants to have. And so I think that all those people are writing for him. I think Consequence been writing for him. Rhymefest been writing for him. I just think that, so like I said, on some of these shows, they are like, nah, they don't got, Rhymefest wrote Jesus Walks. They were denying that. But I felt like that's been a pretty common meme or thought that's been around.
I still think when you start ranking, so MCs, I would agree with you, but I mean I think Ye got verses that's better than a lot of people verses on certain songs. That's good rapping. So I wonder where the lines are. Is he always getting these lines of people throwing stuff at him when it's not his album, or when he's on these joint, or like he's on that whole Watch the Throne with Jay-Z? Or is Jay-Z telling him what to say? Because he's saying better stuff than Jay-Z on most of them songs.
I don't think Jay-Z's telling him what to say. I think Kanye's got a team of writers, and Jay-Z's got just himself. I mean, and that could be wrong.
You think he's standing in the studio with the whole team, and then Jay-Z's standing there like, damn, I'm about to get washed again. I guess it's because of the team. I don't feel bad.
Maybe.
Nah, man.
You
man.
think?
I'm not getting beat on records by these dudes that can't write.
Well, Jay-Z famously does not write, so he goes into the booth and is gonna, say his stuff off the top of his head. Now, Kanye probably came in with this stuff already prepared. Like, I had my team. I was with my team last night.
Okay, so you think that they worked on the album where they weren't together the whole time? It was just like,
I don't know how the recording of that album went. I really don't. I'm not saying.
I don't know either.
Because Kanye has great lines in there.
They work together.
All that sophisticated, ignorant, strike my curses and cursive, all that stuff is like he has dope verses on that on that Watch the Throne album. He watches Jay-Z on that album, 1,000%. But is that all Kanye? I really don't know.
I don't know. What about the Diamonds remix? Is that Consequence? Like, I don't know. Somebody got to tell me how many times. Is it always somebody else? Is it somebody else on Chain Heavy? Is it somebody else on Gone?
I say yes on all of it. Songs? All of it.
Well, that's fair.
That's my opinion. This is my opinion. I don't know. When you watch the documentary, the Genius documentary,
they show him writing the stuff. People sitting there, and he's telling them the lines, and they're like, "Oh,
yes."
So it's not like he's pulling them out of nowhere.
It's edited. Cool. I mean, look, it's edited.
But he was mad about the editing.
He was mad about the editing.
He wasn't. He didn't edit that. He was upset about the editing. So, I mean,
but it was still edited by his friend, who may not have
his former friend.
Not his current friend. Dude still his friend. Maybe they're not friends as in Kanye doesn't like what he did, but the dude still has care and love for Kanye, so he never was like, oh, I'm going to expose his ghostwriting. Like, I don't think that's the point of
it's not an exposure, though.
It's not exposure. Exactly.
Like,